Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney Geerhart, and I work as the curator at the Niagara Region Archive for the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. In 1925, Arnold and Mabel Beckman would spend their honeymoon in Niagara Falls, admiring the view and all it has to offer. By then, Niagara Falls was well known to be frequented by honeymooners, and the Beckmans were among the many who came to admire the scenery. But in the mid-1800s, it was a much different view. This presentation is going to be discussing Niagara Falls and the Free Niagara Movement, which was the movement to make Niagara Falls free for the public to enjoy, and the creation of the Niagara Falls State Park. So by the mid-19th century, Niagara Falls was a global tourist destination, attracting visitors drawn to its breathtaking beauty and immense power. However, the area surrounding Niagara Falls was privately owned and heavily commercialized. Unsightly factories, mills, and other structures crowded the shoreline, detracting from its natural beauty of the falls. Visitors were charged fees to access viewing points, and fences obstructed public access to the falls. This led to protests from people around the world, including famous figures like landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted, New York State Assemblyman Thomas Welch, the artist Frederick Edwin Church, and other writers, artists, and early-minded conservationists. Together, a group of these influential leaders came together to form what came to be known as the Free Niagara Movement. Their goal was to preserve the natural beauty of Niagara Falls and ensure it remained open and accessible to the public. They promoted their cause through public campaigns, speeches, and written works. The special report of the Commissioners on the Preservation of the Scenery of Niagara Falls in 1879 outlined a plan for protecting the falls and its surrounding environment. The report recommended that the state buy the land, remove the industrial buildings, and restore the area to its natural landscape. Founded in 1882, the Niagara Association was a group of prominent leaders who spearheaded the Free Niagara Movement. They used their connections to push for new laws that would create a state park at Niagara Falls. They worked with newspapers and media to get public support for this idea. The Niagara Appropriations Bill to create the new state park passed in the Assembly on March 14, 1883, with a vote of 68 to 39. It then passed in the Senate by a vote of 21 to 10. On April 30th, Governor Grover Cleveland signed the bill into law. 2 days later, Governor Cleveland chose the first 5 commissioners for the state reservation at Niagara. Their first meeting was held on June 9, 1883. Art played a powerful role in this movement. Painters, illustrators, and early photographers captured the sublime beauty of the falls, stirring emotion, admiration, and a sense of collective responsibility. Their works transcended politics and became pervasive tools for change, visual arguments that Niagara was not just a commodity to be bought and sold, but a shared treasure. This section highlights the ways artists inspired, supported, and reflected the ideals of the Free Niagara Movement. These images weren't just art, they were arguments for justice, conservation, and the right of all people to experience nature. As you can see in this panel, there are many different types of art in Niagara Falls that help to tell this story, including the painting by famous landscape artist George Inness of his Niagara Falls. Inness did a series of paintings of Niagara Falls, some of which focused on the natural beauty of the area, and some which documented the human impact of the area. Niagara Falls was a famous subject of his, and he first visited Niagara in 1881 and depicted the falls between 6 to 9 times in oil and watercolor. Frederick Church, who was mentioned in the earlier slide of the Free Niagara Movement figures, also had an important piece which is on display at the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. I like to say it went viral for the time when it went on exhibit in New York City, garnering the attention of people downstate in Albany and New York City, and gathering the attention of people outside the vicinity of the Western New York region. Art became an important part of the movement because it visualized to people who might not have been able to visit in person the importance of preserving and protecting this land and the area for current and future generations. In 1885, the Free Niagara Movement won an important victory when the New York State Legislature passed another bill, which was the Niagara Appropriations Bill. The legislation gave the state permission to purchase 412 acres of land surrounding the falls, including Goat Island and other nearby areas, to create a public reservation. The term reservation was used to emphasize that the land would be protected from private development and kept for the public use. The main goal of the park at that time was to keep the natural beauty of the area safe. The efforts of the Free Niagara Movement and the Niagara Association led to the establishment of the state reservation at Niagara. It officially opened to the public on July 15, 1885. Frederick Law Olmsted and his design partner Calvert Vaux were commissioned to design the park. Their plan emphasized nature with pathways, scenic viewpoints, and open green spaces that blended into the environment. The intention of the design was to allow visitors to enjoy the falls without man-made distractions. Today, Niagara Falls is a symbol of the Free Niagara Movement's success and a landmark in the history of conservation. It attracts millions of visitors each year and serves as a reminder of the importance of protecting natural wonders for future generations. One of the principles of the Free Niagara Movement was that the park should be free for everyone to enjoy, and to this day, it is. There is no admission to enter the park or to enjoy the trails, views, and fun that the park provides. So today, we celebrate two anniversaries, the 100-year anniversary of a love story and a park that has stood for the public for 140 years. Together, they remind us that when people act with love, vision, and purpose, their impact can last for generations. And that will end my presentation. Please feel free to contact me for more information, or if you'd like to learn more about the Niagara Region Archive, please scan our QR code for more. Thank you and have a great day.